As I previously said that this is the weekend of anthologies, but the venture that I'm going to be talking about is the one that has been highly anticipated for quite some time because of the creators involved in it. While this year has been the anthologies of finding hope during lockdown with a variety of stories that have been brought by Hindi as well as Tamil creators on Amazon Prime Video, everyone has been looking forward to the Netflix collaboration with Tamil directors titled Paava Kadhaigal, translating to Sinful Stories. The anthology of 4 short films that have been designed as episodes focuses on the theme of honor in different contexts. There are 2 things that I just want to communicate before I indulge into talking about the short films individually. Number 1 is that many people may have found it unnecessary with regards to the integration of music into the stories. While Vetri Maaran solely depends on the writing on paper to elevate his storyline, many of the creators use music to communicate the mood of the premise. I just want to confess that I didn't find this feature in any way jarring to the storytelling, and that all the music that features in the short films actually are not only melodious but also present some really poetic lyrics. Number 2 is in regards to the projection of my own social beliefs while critiquing films that focus on problematic aspects. I many times to all of you point out the disturbing regressiveness, sexism and the offensive portrayal of marginalized communities or women in film because those specific sequences are presented as comedic gags or justify those problematic acts. Paava Kadhaigal falls in another category wherein each story the issue or sensitive matters are in front of us and are dealt with sensitivity and sincerity. The directors, with their own unique take, present the most uncomfortable and painful sequences, often as a reflection of the grim reality of our society, and through most of it, if you aren't analytical, every director has done a meticulous job. Now that I've got the feeling I had for all films out of the way, let's talk about the individual storylines. The first short film of the anthology is by Sudha. I would also like you to watch the anthology in chronological order because in many ways it does progress and interlink well for a viewing experience. The title of the first short film translates to My Precious. Because the trailers have done a splendid job of not revealing much of any of the stories, I will do the bare minimum of exposing the different storylines so that you can experience it for yourself. Following the theme of honor, the film is set in a village in 1981 and sheds light on several social elements that range from sexual orientation, gender identity, and the insular living experience, an echo chamber that gets established when people of the same kind and thought process live with one another. Kalidas Jayaram, the son of legendary actor Jayaram, puts forth an extremely heartbreaking and transformative performance. Kalidas, who is just a few movies old, will surprise you of the maturity he showcases through this short film. His numbness to the abuse he consecutively gets of the entire village labeling him as that one, it, or a creature sheds light on the torment and plight of the reality of so many individuals. There are so many standout scenes where Kalidas will be etched in your memory, whether it be him breaking down as he is handed a letter or completely taken aback by a physical act of pure kindness. This performance will be remembered after many years. While from a screenplay standpoint, the short film does take a novice route of a character narrating the turn of events to provide us context, it holistically comes to a heartbreaking conclusion that works well, like all of the short films that you will see. The second short film is directed by Vignesh Shivan, and the film's title translates to Let Them Love and focuses on a leader who projects himself as being open-minded to the union of individuals from different castes but makes sure that the parity is met, unknown to the public eye. The film tackles the subject of honor killings and skillfully communicates this through the use of dry humor. This short film is my favorite of the anthology. There are movie references through which characters justify their gruesome actions, and a lookalike of a Kannada actor Yash whose name is KGF. The brilliance of director Vignesh's work in this case is that while the premise ventures into the absurd, it never mocks the situation at hand. So as the premise progresses and the situation becomes more and more bizarre, you still feel invested due to the gravity of the situation. Padam Kumar as the patriarch, Tony Sebastian as B-Cube, and both Anjali and Kalki have done a praiseworthy job. A special mention has to be given to Jafar Sadiq, who absolutely steals the show and may just be one of the most despicable characters portrayed with conviction in 2020. My only gripe with the film is that the director could have avoided the twist in its conclusion. It actually was perfectly progressing with its message, but its added spice, in my opinion, was unnecessary. The third short film is directed by Gautham Menon, and the title translates to The Daughter of the Skies and focuses on the theme of honor through a family dealing with a member being a victim of sexual assault. If you have been privy to vintage Hindi cinema, then you know the stereotypical way in which acts of physical violence have been dealt with. They have mostly been the catalyst of revenge storylines of women immediately committing suicide, as the pain of dishonoring one's family is far too painful. Gautham Menon's story achingly showcases the thought process and internal conflict that a family goes through after such a horrific act has been committed. The short film also highlights the societal expectation of women, trained from a young age of the ways that one should live for a respectable future. An example of the perception of one being on her periods and dirtying objects if she touches them is the sad reality of what is communicated to women generation after generation. It highlights the predicament where to avoid the shame that will be brought upon the family actually in many cases supersedes even the existence of one's blood. This short film has an absolutely beautiful song that captures the protective bond between a parent and his or her child. The performances of both Gautham Menon and Simran will really tug at your heartstrings. It's a beautiful commentary on how sometimes we are in absolute disgust with ourselves when we unknowingly venture into our deepest, darkest thoughts, even when we consider our own kin. My heart dropped a bit in the penultimate sequence. Did yours? The final short film is directed by the legend himself, Vetri Maaran, and the title translates to That Night and stars Sai Pallavi and Prakash Raj in lead roles. The heartbreaking anthology also made me realize the beautiful canvas that OTT platforms have provided for conventional stars, who we may have never seen in such compelling and thought-provoking roles. To see actors like Anjali and Prakash Raj venture into these twisted worlds, just like Anil Kapoor has with an upcoming project like AK vs AK, really does make you acknowledge the beauty of this space and the regret that will follow if censorship will absolutely ruin it. The Vetri Maaran film focuses on a relationship between a father and a daughter that goes sour. Does a reunion of the two individuals allow them to forget all the past resentment and pain? The film, with its minute details, says so much, be it the deeply embedded caste system in one's subconscious that does not even allow a person to drink the water offered by another individual, or the irrelevance of a financially stable life for a person who is consumed by the opinions and judgments of others. This film was the toughest for me to watch, mainly because of the magnificent performance of Sai Pallavi. If you know Vetri Maaran films, you know he wants you to sit with the pain, experience it in real time, and Sai Pallavi acts as the perfect vessel to this gut-wrenchingly sad story. You have been warned, all of the stories in this anthology will make one thing clear, that this is not meant for the faint-hearted. If you're in the quest to find something light and chirpy, this anthology is not that. Be ready to be overwhelmed with emotions and be transported to the creations of some of our finest directors, not only from Tamil Nadu, but from India. I wouldn't give attention to some of the scathing reviews of this anthology, labeling it a hit or a miss. Trust me, it is definitely worth your time on Netflix. And that was a video, guys. Write down in the comments below which were your favorite stories from the anthology. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.